Hi there, crafty peeps. Enis here from Papercrafting with Enis, and I'm on today to share my week 2 project for hashtag PUCHY'S So before I get into my project, let me just tell you a little bit about the YouTube hop. So this is hosted by Puchy Tats here on YouTube and Instagram. And what it is an annual hop, and I think this might be the 3rd year, where she has selected a number of crafters, including me, to create MEMORYDEX projects and share them with all of you on the first Monday of every week during the month of August. So that means there will be 4 videos by each crafter. Now, I want to encourage everybody to hop on and watch all of the crafters' videos because there are prizes being given away on most, if not all, of the channels. And Puchy has got some fantastic sponsors. So yeah, be sure to check it out and follow the rules for all the channels. I can't think of anything else other than, if I didn't mention it, that I will have linked down below all of the channels and videos for everybody who's participating. And if you decide to participate, which you're more than welcome to, be sure to post your projects on Instagram or YouTube and use the hashtag puchysmemymondays so that we can find them, watch, and see your gorgeous creations. So with that out of the way, I just wanted to share the paper collection that I used for my project this week. It is another holiday theme project, and I do have last week's project, which is this Halloween MEMORYDEX that I created, and it does open up, and inside I have some tags decorated and tucked in there. So that was week 1. So if you haven't seen this video, be sure to hop on over there, because in order to be eligible for my prize, you have to watch all 4 of my videos, okay? And leave a comment and like as well. So anyway, back to this paper collection. This is the Prima Christmas Sparkle Christmas Sweet collection, and I'm so happy to say that I have used this collection till it's almost completely gone. All I have are a few pieces of ephemera and some scraps in here, as well as some chipboard pieces. So I will either use these on some future projects, or I will buy the collection if it's still available and use it with that. And then the dies that I use this time around is this one here, which is the Enjoy Gift Bag 2025 from the Happy Crafter Shop. And I used all of the pieces except for the Circle Enjoy and the layering piece. And then I also used from this die set, and I believe I got this on Temu, I just used this one piece here, which is the actual MEMORYDEX die. And these are just layering pieces here. So that is the main things I use for my project. So let me grab it and bring it in. And I am super excited about this. I think it turned out really, really cute. So you can see that I'm using that gift bag from the Happy Crafter Shop. Here is where I added the MEMORYDEX piece on the bottom, and I'm going to show you later how to create that if you don't know how to do that. And you can see I've got a couple of layers of paper here. The base piece is done in a blush 65-pound cardstock. And this top layering piece is popped up on some foam tape, decorated with some little jemmies here and here. We've got some chipboard here. This is a cute little bow that I got from Temu, and I just added the jemmy in the middle there. I did use Wink Estella on the fur pieces of his hat and his jacket there, and as well as the around the cuff here, and a little bit on the Christmas package. Then I created this little cluster here. It's on a silver metallic rosette with some tulle on there, and it's got little silver stars and moons on it. We've got some other chipboard pieces, and this says All the Sparkle. I've got some more jimmies here, and then I tucked in a little bit of silver metallic thread in a couple of places. So there's the side that is decorated with the paper. And on this side, I made this absolutely beautiful sparkly dangle. I love this dangle. The silver is just so pretty. Most of the beads that are on here came from the Happy Crafter Shop. These blue ones, the crackle beads, the milky looking pink beads. The silver beads were from my stash. I do have, let me see here, this little butterfly. Don't know if you can see it. Can you see that little butterfly there? That came from the Happy Crafter Shop. The little bow here, the little bow here, those are Happy Crafter Shop beads. And then on the bottom, I've got this little silver Christmas tree, and this actually came from a charm set that I got at Joann's a year or so ago, and they were all like cookie cutters. So I thought that was perfect on there. And then the back side, I have decorated similar to the front with the paper. I've got another one of those bows from Temu and another jemmy. little chipboard piece here and here, some more little gems smattered around, and then I created this little door that is Velcroed closed. And there's plenty of space here for you to write your information to share with a crafty friend. And then you can see here on the bottom, I have that MEMORYDEX piece on there. And like I said, I'm going to show you how to make that in a minute. And then tucked inside, I have some tulle and another little project. So let me get that out. So here you go. It is a super cute little mini album. Look at that. Love this paper collection. No dies were used to make this. I just measured and cut my paper. Once again, I'm using that blush pink cardstock as the base and the Christmas sparkle paper on there. On the front here, I have a cluster of little birdie flowers and some leaves, and I did put some Wink of Stella on the leaves and the flowers. I've got a little bit of tulle tucked in back here. I've got some of the silver thread tucked in a couple of different places. On the angel, I did Wink of Stella her wings, the star on her halo, and the sash on her little dress there. And it says, Christmas greetings to you. Here's the spine, and I didn't do anything extra to the spine because otherwise it won't fit in this box because it is the perfect size. Here's the back, another piece from the collection, and then I have my maker mark on there, which I almost regret putting on there because it covers up that pretty paper. But anyway, so let's take a peek inside. And I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit so we can get a little bit of a closer look. So hold on just a second. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. So you can see here, I've got a cute little pocket and it's decorated with some chipboard. I did Wink of Stella around the heart. I made an itty bitty teeny tiny little bow from the tulle and I added a gemmy pearl on top. I've got a couple little tags tucked in. And these tags, I did add some tulle. This one I tied the tulle on. This one is stapled. And then I just added some of that silver thread on there. And by the way, you can put photos or journal on the backs. And then this page here has this gorgeous Christmas tree, and I added some of the flat back pearls on there. And I Wink of Stella'd all of the little ornaments in a couple of little places just to add some sparkle. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's really pretty. And I also Wink of Stella'd the wreath there. Now, this piece was not large enough to cover the page, so I just fussy cut a little piece of trim and added it there. And this page is magnetized closed, and we have the repeat page here. Now, this has the Wink of Stella on the wreath and the tree, but no jemmies because this magnetizes closed and the jemmies would prevent it from closing. But you open it up here and you have twin pages for photographs or journaling. I have this little pocket here, and once again, I use some Wink of Stella on the paper and a couple more tags. You can see that pretty paper there. And these are just tied on with the tulle. Very, very cute. Okay, and then this side, we have a gatefold page, and I did use some Wink of Stella on the paper. Some more little jemmies there, and then the closure. This is magnetized closed, but this is a chipboard piece. It says Christmas chimes. And you open it up here for the gatefold, and you can see the paper in here. And once again, this piece wasn't large enough. This was an actual cut apart from the collection, so I just paper pieced a couple of pieces on there to make it fit. So that's really cute. And then back here we have a little envelope flip page. And here I did use the Wink of Stella on the pink stripes. I've got a little flower cluster there. And you open it up and we have a space here for picture or journaling. A couple more tags tucked in. The trim here is actually stapled on, and then we have the little pocket. So that is my little project. We've got the cute little album and this beautiful little gift box bag MEMORYDEX card. So that's the actual project. And now I want to show you just really quickly how to create this piece so that you can turn a 3D project into a MEMORYDEX. Now, there are a couple of different ways of doing this. I'm just going to show you the way I did. So I'm going to bring in a couple of things here. So I have two pieces cut out already, and these were just scraps from the paper. And what I did was I took my die, laid it on the scrap piece, and cut two of these out. Okay. And let's see here. I don't know if I need to trim this. Yeah, I do need to trim this, so because they're not exactly the same. Okay, so what you want to do when you're thinking about creating this is figure out how much above your MEMORYDEX slots here you want your project to fit. So in mine, you see I probably got like a 1/2 inch between there and the top of that. So we're going to do that. And then you also need to measure the bottom of your project, and whatever that measurement is, you're going to take it in half, and that's how much you're going to cut this paper down. So you got the 1/2 inch above plus the half depth of the bottom of your project. I hope that makes sense. Now I'm just going to do this eyeballing, okay? I think I'm just going to line it up with the 1 1/4 mark there. Make sure I have these lined up properly. And I'm cutting both at the same time. You can cut them individually if you want. And just cut those off. Oh, I think I might have cut too much off. Okay, that's all right. We're just doing this for demo purposes anyway. Okay, so then I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. And I'm going to line that up. Actually, I'm going to flip it this way. And remember, I wanted to go a 1/2 inch above that. Now, because I cut this too short, let's see, I'm probably just going to be maybe a 1/4 inch, but I really wanted a 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm just going to go to this 1/4 inch mark and I'm going to score. Okay, and I'm going to do that on both pieces in the same spot, 1/4 inch. Okay, so that's that. And then you're going to want to fold on the fold line towards your stitched piece. So if you can see there, there's stitching there. So you want to fold it towards the front or the stitch piece. And then use your bone folder and just press that down. And then here we have the stitching here. So I'm going to fold that towards the stitching and press that down. Okay. And then you're going to be gluing these wrong sides together. Okay, so it's going to look like that on the top and that from the front and the back. So let me grab my glue and just get my glue on here real fast. And I know there's some of you out there who are watching who already know how to do this, but I do have a number of new subscribers right now, so I wanted to share this information. And you are just going to line these two up, and you'll want to line them up the best you can. Okay. And I'm just going to press that down. And if I were actually making a project, I would want the glue to set before I did anything with it. But just for the sake of this demo, okay, because otherwise this could come apart. That's why. Okay, so you're going to flatten this out a little bit. And let's say, I'm just going to grab my little mini album here. Let's say I was going to turn this into a MEMORYDEX, okay? So now what you're going to do is add glue here and glue it to the bottom of your project. Okay, just like that. Now, like I said, I cut this too short, but theoretically you probably would want to cover almost all of the bottom of your project, just to give it added strength. And also would recommend using 110-pound cardstock if you have it. This is 65-pound, and I would like it to be a little bit stronger, but I think it'll work just fine. So you're just going to glue that on there, and there you have it. That is going to turn your project into a MEMORYDEX card. Now, the alternative to that is you can take your die or whatever you're using to make your MEMORYDEX, cut this out twice, glue them back sides together, and then glue it to the back of your project. And making sure that this sticks down at the bottom so that you can fit it on your MEMORYDEX holder. And that's it. Then you can just decorate or write on that however you need to. So that's what I've got for you today. A quick little demo, as well as my Week 2 MEMORYDEX project share. And I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope you found some inspiration. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget to comment and watch all of my videos. Be sure to check out everybody else. I do have the playlist down below. Make sure you hit everyone's channels. Find out what their giveaways are. And yeah, just have a lot of fun with this. Get some inspiration. Post projects of your own using the hashtag PUCHY'S MEMYMondays. And that's what I've got for you today. Be on the lookout next Monday for week 3. I don't know yet what I'm going to be doing, but hopefully it'll be good. I hope so. So thanks a lot for watching, and I will catch you all on the next crafty video. See you later, crafty peeps. Bye.